What's up, guys? Eric here with driverlineup.com, world's luckiest steering wheel holder, and my quadruplate. As I've said many times, I don't think that quadruplate is a word, but that's what I refer to her as. Quadruplate. I don't know, it just feels good to say. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about a common insult that I hear lobbed at us steering wheel holders by the super truckers. And I don't get it. It's one that I don't think works in their favor. I don't think they're winning over any hearts and minds with this particular insult. But I heard it again this morning on a CB. Jenna heard it too. She had just woken up and we were both like, why do they think that's disparaging? But anyway, we're going to get into that in a minute. But I wanted to say real quick before we get into that our podcast Driver Hub is now on all podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts and a few other Apple related apps. So Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Spotify, any app really that you could think of that has podcasts. I think there's like 30 of them that our podcast is now approved and available in. On the subject of super truckers and steering wheel holders, although he doesn't really reference it that way, Travis Kenley's episode, which is episode 2 for this season of the Driver Hub podcast, goes up tomorrow. It goes up on the 19th. Some of you may watch this video after that, but that's okay. It'll be live. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on whatever app you use for podcasts, and you'll get that one tomorrow. That one is about next generation truckers. And I listened to it, not last night, but the night before, and it is very, very good. It is, you're going to want to, it's like 25, 30 minutes. Excellent podcast. If you're thinking about getting into trucking, and you have a perception of what truck drivers are, you need to listen to his podcast that goes up tomorrow. It is a really good listen. And on that subject, I do want to ask for a favor real quick, and then I'm going to get to the insult here in a minute. I do want to ask for a favor real quick. If you have an Apple device, please, if you can, go subscribe to Driver Hub on Apple Podcast and leave it a review. This is really, really important. Reviews, positive, if you like it. You know, if you don't like it, don't leave a review. If you like the podcast, leave a review and subscribe to it. It's a huge help. If you're on Spotify or any of the other apps, please follow or subscribe to the Driver Hub podcast. Guys, it's really important. How cool is it that Prime drivers have a podcast that is very quickly starting to rank really well for trucking related podcast? And I really think that we could be up there at the top in terms of trucking podcasts. And basically our distributor for these podcasts reached out the other day and said, look, you're well above average for new podcasts in terms of downloads and growth. So every subscription, every follow on any of the podcast apps is going to help rank that podcast up higher. And I think we'd all agree that having a group of Prime drivers having a podcast that's ranked really well for trucking is really good for us all, and it's really cool. So if you could help us at some time over the next couple days, go subscribe, follow it on whatever app you listen to podcasts. And if you're on Apple, give it a review. It would be enormously appreciated, you guys. It's awesome stuff. So let's roll the intro and get into these insults. Okay, so there's a lot of, again, listen to Travis's podcast tomorrow or yesterday, whenever if you're listening to this on the 19th, it goes up today. If you're listening to it on the 20th of April or later, it's already up. But he talks about next generation trucking and how a lot of the old school truckers or super truckers come from a completely different world, a completely different perception of what truck driving is. And it's not the perception of us by a lot of the old schoolers is so foreign to me, like almost alien, from another planet. And, a lot of the insults that we hear on the CB or see online are, okay, a lot of steering wheel holders. When I say steering wheel holder, you guys know I play that up. Obviously, truck driving is more than steering wheel holding, obviously. But I play it up because I don't let things like that get under my skin or insult me. So when I hear someone say steering wheel holder on the CB, I jump on there and say, hey, professional steering wheel holder here at your service, what's going on? Like I play it up. But they think of us as like flip-flop wearing 30 minutes in the fuel island, amateur, and yes, there's some of that. And it drives me crazy, especially those blocking the fuel island and, flip-flops. Okay, whatever. I don't wear flip-flops. That one doesn't really get to me. If you want to wear flip-flops, wear flip-flops. Do your thing. I don't care. I don't know why anyone else should care either. But, there's certainly legitimate complaints about new drivers making it less of a profession. I get that, okay? There's a lot of them that stick. There's a lot of them that are legitimate, and they're unfortunate and they're embarrassing. Okay, not all of us new school drivers are amateurs and unprofessional. So I don't like how it's all lumped in, and sometimes just to kind of throw it back, that's why I call myself a steering wheel holder. But one thing that's very common, and I don't know why this is, but I've heard it many times on the CB. I've seen it online. I've seen it there's YouTube videos of this, of old school guys who've been on the road for 20, 25 years, lashing out insults at new drivers, and they include one that just baffles me. This morning, right after Jenna woke up, there was some argument going on at the Petro in Effingham, Illinois, as I was driving through, and a couple drivers, old schoolers, super truckers, were all peeved because there was a Crete truck or something that had been in one of the fuel islands for like 35 minutes. Legitimate, like that's BS. Don't do that. If there's no one behind you, like I'm at Road Ranger right now, there's one truck in a fuel island. Okay, then sit in the fuel island, but don't leave your truck unattended for that long because it can get really busy real quick, right? But if you want to sit there for 30 minutes when there's no one else that needs a fuel island, that's a big difference. So anyway, this guy's like just lighting the CB up, and he's like flip-flop wearing, foot on dashing, automatic trucking, just going and going and going, bitching about Cracker Jack box, CDL holder, just this long string of things. And then he ends it with, and I bet he has to take a shower every day too. And it's like, why is that? You're not winning any hearts and minds by complaining about someone who might want to take a shower every single day. That one really baffles me. And I don't take a shower every day. If I could, I would. It's just not convenient to do that. So I don't take a shower every day, but if I could, I would. And I don't understand how that is something that you would use as an insult. So you're saying that you can only be a real professional driver if you go stinky and dirty all week? I don't get it. What is the deal with new school drivers taking showers often that you could view as an insult? I just don't get that. And here's Jenna. I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'll bring her in on it.
Nothing is scarier than getting back into the truck and being told, I need to finish this video and I need your opinion. So
I roll the window up. The reefer's running now.
What did I just walk into?
So anyway, I'm almost done with the video, but we're talking about a guy who this morning was ripping on
Oh yeah, that guy was
steering wheel holders because they take showers every day.
Yeah, he was awesome. He's a legend in his own mind.
He's an important trucker.
Oh, look at me. I'm so special. I got his fuel and flip-flops because I need to go take a shower. It's like, what?
Yeah, he was. So I already explained all of his, but it just this is not the first time I've heard super truckers try and use the shower every day line as a line of insult.
Mm-hmm.
And
weird flex to be like, I don't shower every day and I look down on you for having good hygiene. That is an extremely weird flex.
And like I said, none of us shower every day, first of all. Like, that's unrealistic.
Well, we try if we can.
Yeah, and I said that. If we could, we would.
I'd like to shower twice a day if it was possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's an inconvenience. You don't have the time. You don't have the laundry, but also you don't really, as long as you just kind of keep yourself cleaned up, wear deodorant, use good hygiene, you're not really filthy either. We shower typically every other day. Jenna's gonna shower today, I'll shower tomorrow. That's kind of how I showered yesterday, but we don't shower every day. I don't really know any driver, new school or old school or what, that showers every day. But even if they did, and if I could, I would. Why is that an insult? I don't. And what does that say about you as the super trucker are you saying that in order to be a professional, we have to be dirty and stinky and not have, I just don't understand it. And I know there's been other new school truckers who've talked about this. I know one video in particular, I'm not going to call out his channel because I'm not a big fan of him. Not a prime driver. But it just baffles me sometimes the disconnect between old school drivers and new school drivers, where they really think that some of the things they say make us look bad. And it's really that it makes them look bad,
Look at this tool doing his pre-trip, keeping his truck safe. Look at this tool. Like, that's literally like
we've heard people on a CB.
Look at him checking his oil,
talking about insulting a prime driver for pulling his hood up, saying things like, I'm sure he knows nothing about that engine. It's like, dude, you should be on the CB saying, hey, good for that guy,
Maybe we don't know anything about the mechanics of the engine, but if we notice a crack or something leaking, we know enough to know that's going to leave us stranded on the side of the road.
And besides that, if you're going to complain about new school drivers not being professionals, then why do you find things that actually make us professional to try and use as an insult?
I'm not going to disagree with you on the pajama pants at shippers.
And I said that, and sandals.
Yeah.
It's not, now if you're out on the road, you gotta you've been sleeping for 10 hours or 8 hours, and you're going inside, you're taking a dog out, you're going inside wearing flip-flops. And that's why I don't like the videos that focus on people at truck stops in flip-flops. You have no idea. Like, they could have just come out of bed and are going inside. Don't film people wearing flip-flops at truck stops. You have no idea what they're doing at that. It may not mean that they're wearing flip-flops at shippers and receivers.
Yeah.
But some of it I understand. Having trash all over, falling out of their trucks, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in old trucks too. But the whole getting, trying to insult new drivers because they raise the hood and you don't think they know what they're doing, or they shower often, like, that is what makes them a professional. Having good hygiene and being clean makes you a professional. Raising the hood and actually looking at your truck or walking around, making sure everything's in working order, that makes you a professional. So it's just bizarre to me sometimes, the disconnect of and I guess it's just talking to their circles of old schoolers. They like to get on the CB and just bitch and moan about, but the thing they need to realize is that circle is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, And the circle of people that they're insulting is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, what frustrates me about it is that if you have a problem with the way that the new generation, you know, whatever, they don't do this the way you would or whatever, like, I get that, because, like, obviously it's just like when you're growing up and your grandparents hate your music, you know. We're getting to that age where we're realizing we're not cool anymore to the younger generation, that we're old, you know, whatever. But my point of bringing that up is that if you see them doing something and there's a tried and true better way that you know, why not teach them? Instead of just, like, holding all this knowledge as a secret. Yeah. You know, if there's something that you know that's gonna, like, help, you know, it's a safer way or something, you know, then teach people, talk to people, you know.
But I think these guys that insult us, and, like, they don't like that it's become easier at the entry level and more comfortable to do the job profitably. I think there's a lot of guys that don't like that. That's not the type of individual that Travis Kinley references in his podcast that comes up when he talks about the next generation trucking. He's just talking about how it's just different in general. And one thing that is for certain is change will occur. And you can't stop it, and you can't, you know, it's going to happen. Change is going to happen. And if change means that truck drivers are taking showers every day,
awesome,
then sign me up. Yeah. So anyway, all right, guys, we're out of here. I'm switching over. She's driving for the day, so I just want to give you guys an update. Be safe.
We got Eric his muffin and his Gatorade.
You know what? I like never eat muffins except for these Mountain Berry yogurt muffins from Road Ranger. I don't know what it is with these things, but man, they're so good.
I actually brought some of those to driver lineup the other day on our way home. I brought actual driver lineup at Prime. I brought those home for them, and they were so excited. It was that and Hershey bars. They were so happy to have a driver dropping off a trailer and treats for them.
Yeah, they're freaking delicious. If you guys like muffins, try these. Road Ranger, they all have them. Mountain Berry.
It's the opposite of dry.
Mountain Berry yogurt muffin. Delicious.
Very rich muffin.
All right, guys, be safe. Make good decisions. Always drive thrive. We'll talk to you soon.